Hi Virgo, and welcome to Cat Tarot. This is like the reading for November. So while I'm shuffling the cards, I'm going to kind of like go quickly through a little bit of astrological kind of like themes that we are going to be experiencing this month. So we have been going through Mercury retrograde. This is your ruler, right? It's going to end on the 3rd of this month, but kind of like Mercury is usually present and you feel it a little bit more strongly than the other sign, you and Gemini, right? So this kind of like probably created some kind of cross wires with tasks and correspondences. Maybe there was like this whole essence of uncertainty, and to a sign that likes to be organized and practical like yours, you kind of like felt it was really abrasive energy. So as of the 3rd, the backspin will end, and then that's going to be the end of your frustrations, and you're going to kind of like start to notice that kind of like renewed sense of ease. And especially in the domain of your finances, that's going to be really important. So maybe a new source of savings, or maybe an opportunity to make a case for a raise kind of like can happen this month, right? Maybe right now you're not feeling very optimistic because it kind of like it also carried for your sign this kind of like beat down energy, but don't be afraid. You know, you have to really lean into it when kind of like certain opportunities occurs for you, because you're going to find this like newfound energy, right? On the 10th, Mercury enters Scorpio, and that returns to your sector of menial tasks, and it's kind of makes sense that also Two of Pentacles showed up on the bottom of that, because that's kind of like this putting one foot in front of another and making sure that everything is really functioning, right? So in that zone, you have been very beleaguered last month, right? So now that your ruling planet is direct, and it's kind of like back to kind of like this super smart self, right? Again, this is really good about Mercury. You can get your ideas across, you can communicate very well, but oh boy, when like somebody removes the wheels of the vehicle, everything kind of like goes haywire, right? So now you're back to that to-do list that maybe was kind of like collecting dust, and sort of like just make sure that like, I mean, your zeal doesn't kind of like, I guess, outpace your concentration, because it's kind of like really not in Virgo's nature to leave your kind of like work half finished or your task half done, because this month there's like a little bit of risk that you'll be so thrilled to be kind of like moving kind of like forward that you just like start scattering yourself in all directions at once. So just like, I mean, there's going to be time for everything, so just like don't obsess over things. So let's see where this takes us this month. You have Queen of Wands. That's that energy that I'm telling you. She's like, I mean, doer and kicker and doer, but she also has this little black kitty over here, and the black kitty means that she's not revealing all her plans. This is not kind of like, it's kind of like holding your heart, holding your cards close to your chest, right? Queen of Wands is like somebody who is really kind of like jumping into action and kind of like really willing to do kind of like go along. I really like the flowers that she's holding, which kind of like shows her kind of connection. It's close to the heart. It's kind of like showing that openness, and kind of like smell the roses literally over here. This card is crossed with 8 of Cups. Well, this is one of those cards where we see like all the cups are there. Everything is working. Like they're all beautiful. So why is she leaving this picnic table? Why is she going into the unknown? Well, maybe because she feels that this is all great and dandy, but you know, she just maybe needs to experience what is out there and just kind of like go with this. Like she's just taking her little sack. But now it reversed. It's meaning that she went out there. She kind of like tried to find something that maybe she felt was a missing link, but now she realized, hey, all along I had it all. I really don't need to look for it, but I'm glad I did it, because now I know that I had everything I need, right? It's kind of like that comfort. It's that joke that somebody told me. I'm a horrible joke teller, but I'm going to tell you about a guy who spends all his days just easy fishing. He just jumps in the morning in his like little boat. He takes few fishes, takes it home, eats with his wife, makes love to his wife, goes to for an afternoon nap, and kind of like chats with your friends in the evening, and then rinse and repeat kind of a thing. So a rich guy comes into town, and And he's looking at him, said, oh my God, like, I mean, you can make so much money, right? So we can kind of like repeat this like a few times per day, and then soon you'll be able to kind of like buy a bigger boat. And then when you get a bigger boat, then, like, I mean, you'll be able to get more fish, and then when you get more fish, you can get the second kind of like boat, and so on and so forth. And this guy says to him, so okay, this is great, so why am I doing all of this? He said, like, imagine then you get to the point that you can just do nothing, you can just enjoy yourself. He said, you mean like getting up and just kind of like fishing fish or two and going back and making love to my wife? Right? So that's the whole point. Like, this is the understanding of, I already had it all along. I just like thought that maybe something else will be different. Then we have the Hangman. Lots of this energy this month. It's kind of like trying to understand other people, trying to see their dimension, their vibration, what they're seeing, where we just really don't want to control situation, not even at all. It's almost going there, like, I mean, tabula rasa, that empty plate, and we really want to see how other people do things, how they other deal with situations. And usually we are surprised in the situation because what we learn is really beneficial to our own development. So it's kind of like almost like two contrasting energy from Queen of Wands. It's kind of like that expanding energy, but like now you're expanding on something that you have. Like, so maybe like you moved out from your parents, maybe you're moving back in. Right? Maybe, you kind of like wanted to have a big career job. Now you're realizing, well, working from home is actually quite fine and dandy. It's going to be like one of those reconciliations in your own head. Then you have reverse Ten of Cups, and this is like in the past. So something was off, and this is like why you were feeling unhappy. You were not signaling that to anybody. Nobody really knew what kind of like is going on within you and why you're feeling at odds, but you kind of like knew it internally. That's why you kind of like moved it forward, trying to look for it. Maybe because you didn't find it, or what you found was not exactly that kind of like this big prize that you thought you would get. Now you're actually realizing that maybe the small pleasures and kind of like little kind of like intimate time with your families, with your family members, are actually really, really important. Above you have King of Cups reversed. Well, now I don't like this kind of like card because these faces in tarot are really nice, but look at this. There's somebody drowning here in the background here. As you can see, the little siren, which is not necessarily drowning, but he's not seeing her either. He's reversed. So he's like really into himself. So instead of him providing this emotional support, because we go to this card because we want to get that kind of like soft place to fall. Instead, it's like a black hole of emotions that just dragging into your stuff. You know how we meet these people who drag you in your drama. You just cannot not to be involved because they're right in your face, they're demanding, they're like using all kinds of emotional triggers to get you going, and you just like, you feel like you're like hell, you're like, fighting with a pig, and like, you're all muddy, but the pig loves it, kind of a thing. And it's kind of like going to be an emotionally charged situation that's going to be happening between, I would say, the 10th and 15th. And that's kind of like where Mercury enters Scorpio. And we also have Mars that is stopping, that is going forward. It's also, we had Mars retrograde, and that's stopping on November 13th. So the 10th to the 15th period is going to be where kind of like we need to trust our own instincts, where almost like it's going to be detective-like atmosphere, where you will really have to kind of like pull in. And that's kind of like perspective, and having a hold on perspective is going to be very, very needed. And then you have a Three of Cups. So finally, I think you're going to decide to either get together with few close friends or sisters or kind of siblings, which is going to really energize. You're going to feel at home. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel accepted. You're going to feel the communication is happening and it's going very well. So all of kind of like these disturbances and maybe kind of like letdowns are going to be set aside. In your house, you have Knight of Swords, and this is really lovely. So you are kind of like, as I said, you're going to be so enthused. You're going to be that Energizer bunny that somebody replenished the batteries, and now it's going in all freaking directions. So you really have to be careful, because this Knight of Swords is super fast. He doesn't necessarily have entire plan. The plan is usually half-baked, but he's really good at it, because he knows I have to come from A to B, and then from B to C I'm going to make it, right? But nonetheless, that energy is going to be good. So you're going from the stagnation, allowing others to move forward. And this is all kind of like switching around the 13th for you. When Mars goes forward, you're going to get this like extra energy. So these people who are dragging you into their problems and making you somehow responsible for resolving their problems, where you have your own to deal with. Hello, you're an adult, deal with your own problems, unless, you know, it's your profession to help them, right? Like, I mean, this is what's going to be. You're going to realize that you need to kind of like charge your own energies. And here you have the High Priestess. It's interestingly enough, High Priestess is like intuitive, but this is not you. This is in the environment. So you will have to look at this. You have a cups, and she's kind of dealing with moons. She's connecting to the new moon. A new moon is on November 15th in Scorpio. And this is like something is going to, or somebody rather to say, somebody very, very quiet will make an impression on you. They will almost like energize you, and that can be in person, and it could be simply something you see on YouTube or online. Somebody who will almost like kind of like encourage you to push through your own fears and to fight for what you want. It's kind of like very simple. You're going to see the process is very simple. You just simply have to make lots of right choices. When you make right choices, and we always know what the right choices are, because when we pull it in and you have learned how other people operate and what they do, you just have to kind of like make a choice, A, that is like something which should be on the path where you want to go, on kind of like toward your goals, and B, emotionally satisfying. It has to have both. And maybe you haven't done this kind of like directives in the past, and maybe got you like in some kind of blind spots. You had an impasse, you had to come back and backtrack, but now you have learned the road better, right? Everything is functioning better. So your hopes and dreams are Eight of Swords. You're really fearing the most. Oh my God, I'll be blocked again, right? She's blindfolded over here. She's tied up, and she feels, you know, she is at the end of her rope. But she isn't. We know it. She doesn't. All she needs to do is remove her blindfold and see the real reality. So if you feel that you're in a situation that you're stuck, that, like, I mean, the bricks are falling on you, that others are kind of like demanding your time and things are happening, you need to refresh to yourself that, hey, I have all the solution actually. Kind of like charge your batteries and kind of like recharge your hard drive with the closest people to you, who will kind of like give you the pat on the shoulder that you really need and move you forward. Eight of Swords can also indicate that maybe you want communication from someone who is not communicating. Maybe you think they're pulling Houdini on you, but they're really just in this time and the place where they can't, because they have no news to bring, and they feel silence is better than just giving you some bad news. That's actually in a sense good, because they're actually still thinking about you. They are just sort of like in a box where they have to handle their own things. So just count your blessings, because it will be just another person whose problems you need to absorb, and it's going to be just like that you're going to be so powerful and so energized that people will come to you like moth to flame. And you have to really kind of like realize that it took you a while to get this energy. You kind of cannot give it to everybody. And that is like a Nine of Pentacles. You kind of like want to move in a situation. This is like literally to me Virgo, and she's like well, Virgo or Aquarius. I can see these two things in this particular card. But like what I see over here is somebody who is like really pampering herself. But it came reversed, meaning you kind of like are tired from the kind of like solo game. You want to move into the next level of something, right? So she kind of like walked away, she came back, but you didn't kind of like go through all of the trouble just to kind of like go back in stagnation. So Nine of Pentacles is somebody who kind of like it's the highest realization. We have to go through this card in order to learn how to be in a relationship. So for you, you have a relationship potential, or a relationship can improve, but you also can have this month manipulative, basically, pricks who can really pull the emotional strings, promise you the world, and just let you kind of like fall on your own face because they never meant it. They just needed something from you in the time being. So this is almost like the card saying, I'm better solo than with a person like that, right? It's kind of like understanding, look, you know, I'm not going to change this person. He or she is like, what, 30, 40, 50, kind of like name the age. Like, they should have that level of self-awareness. They should be able to handle it, right? One more card that I pulled for you, however, was actually, sorry, I thought I pulled one. It was like second one that was there. It's new love, and it's heart-to-heart conversations. So this is typically you, right? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's see what it is. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And here, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. So I'm wondering, like, we have the Queen of Wands and we have Knight of Swords. So it's going to be something interesting. It's going to be some kind of communication. It's going to be maybe some activity. It's going to be some kind of gathering. Be very kind of like analytical. You guys are doing this really well. Be observant, kind of like try to see things from different perspectives in order to kind of like make quality decisions. As I said, you're going to meet this love, and maybe this is this person. Maybe it's going to be somebody really quiet, somebody unassuming, who is going to be in your life, who is going to have that little bit of a mystical quality. Be kind of like really alert around November 15th when we have like this new moon. It's going to be like one of those opportunities. It's going to be all or nothing. So just grab it and run with it. So Virgo, hopefully you like this month thing, and if you want to get a daily tarot, just join my social media at Cat Tarot, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also, guys, I'm going to be doing for free. This is a change from my usually paid annual Taroscopes. I'm going to be free overview for 2021. However, it's going to be only to the people who are my YouTube subscribers and to people who join my mailing list. So if you're not subscriber, just click on subscribe, then go on my website, cattarot.ca, and join my mailing list there. Either it's going to be a pop-up, or you have to scroll down on the bottom of the page and you click on the black little kind of like piece, join my mailing list. So you'll get probably once a month kind of like things from me telling you that the Taroscopes are out, and you're going to get this like annual thing. Lastly, guys, if you want a reading with me, also my website cattarot.ca is the best way to see what I offer, and we can go from there. So guys, I love you. I wish you all the best, and until the next time, I'm looking forward to seeing you on my mailing list. All the best.